In our first example for section 1.5, we're going to revisit circles briefly. So we know that, for example, a circle is the set of points that are a fixed distance from a given point. Now with complex numbers, the circle is easy to describe using the modulus operation. So the circle centered at z0 and of radius r is just the set of points z such that the distance from z to z0, which is the modulus of z minus z0, is that fixed radius r. And that's it. So we saw, for example, already that when the modulus of z is 1, then this describes a circle which we can rewrite if we like as z minus 0 equals 1. So we can write this as a circle centered at the origin of radius 1. And that's what we call the unit circle. Great. So let's look at a slightly different example. If we were to look at this expression, this also describes a circle. So that's the modulus of z minus 1 plus 3i is 5. And the question is, well, what are the center and the radius? Well, this is easy because we need to write this as z minus a fixed complex number. This is not quite that. So we're going to rewrite as z minus 1. Oops, that'll be a negative in this case. Negative 3i is 5. We have to factor out the negative so that we're negating a single unit. Or not a unit, but a single complex number. So what does this describe? This describes a circle of radius 5 centered at 1 minus 3i. And furthermore, if you were to sit here and you were to compute away, so let's just do the computation with Cartesian coordinates, just to see that it agrees with what we know the equation should be. If you look at, so we have 5 is equal to the modulus of z minus 1 minus 3i. To take modulus, you have to first have a single complex number. So we'll multiply our negative back in. And, oops, I'm going to write this as y plus 3. We can factor out the I from the y and the negative 3, which is positive 3. And then if we were to write out the definition of modulus, we're looking at the square root of x minus 1 squared plus y plus 3 squared. And if you were to square both sides, you would get 5 squared is x minus 1 squared plus, I'm going to choose to go back to writing this as y minus 3 squared, which we know from whenever we learned about the equation of a circle. This also describes a circle of radius 5 centered at, well, our x coordinate's 1 and our y coordinate should be negative 3, and that of course corresponds to the complex number 1 minus 3i. So it's in fact the same thing.